let's discuss the outputs to this process. Risk Management Plan. The Risk Management Plan is a component of the project management plan that describes how risk management activities will be structured and performed. The Risk Management Plan may include some or all of the following elements. The risk strategy describes the general approach to managing risk on this project. The methodology defines the specific approaches, tools, and data sources that will be used to perform risk management on the project. The roles and responsibilities defines the lead, support, and risk management team members for each type of activity described in the risk management plan and clarifies their responsibilities. The funding identifies the funds needed to perform activities related to project risk management. It establishes protocols for the application of contingency and management reserves. The timing defines when and how often the project risk management processes will be performed throughout the project lifecycle and establishes risk management activities for inclusion into the project schedule. The risk categories provide a means for grouping individual project risks. A common way to structure risk categories is with a risk breakdown structure, which is a hierarchical representation of potential sources of risk. A resource breakdown structure helps the project team consider the full range of sources from which individual project risks may arise. This can be useful when identifying risks or when categorizing identified risks. The organization may have a generic resource breakdown structure to be used for all projects, or there may be several RBS frameworks for different types of projects, or the project may develop a tailored resource breakdown structure. Where a resource breakdown structure is not used, an organization may use a custom risk categorization framework, which may take the form of a simple list of categories or a structure based on project objectives. Stakeholder risk appetite. The risk appetites of key stakeholders on the project are recorded in the risk management plan, as they inform the details of the plan risk management process. In particular, stakeholder risk appetite should be expressed as measurable risk thresholds around each project objective. These thresholds will determine the acceptable level of overall project risk exposure, and they are also used to inform the definitions of probability and impacts to be used when assessing and prioritizing individual project risks. Definitions of risk probability and impact levels are specific to the project context and reflect the risk, appetite, and thresholds of the organization and key stakeholders. The project may generate specific definitions of probability and impact levels, or it may start with general definitions provided by the organization. The number of levels reflects the degree of detail required for the project risk management process, with more levels used for a more detailed risk approach, typically 5 levels, and fewer for a simple process, usually 3. The figure in front of you on the screen provides an example of definitions of probability and impacts against 3 project objectives. These cases can be used to evaluate both threats and opportunities by interpreting the impact definitions as negative for threats, like delay, additional cost, and performance shortfall, and positive for opportunities, reduced time or cost, and performance enhancement. Prioritization rules may be specified by the organization in advance of the project and be included in organizational process assets, or they may be tailored to the specific project. Opportunities and threats are represented in a common probability and impact matrix using positive definitions of impact for opportunities and negative impact definitions for threats. Descriptive terms such as very high, high, medium, low, and very low, or numeric values can be used for probability and impact. Where numeric values are used, these can be multiplied to give a probability impact score for each risk, which allows the relative priority of individual risks to be evaluated within each priority level. An example probability and impact matrix is presented and on screen in front of you, which also shows a possible numeric risk scoring scheme. Reporting formats define how the outcomes of the project risk management process will be documented, analyzed, and communicated. This section of the risk management plan describes the content and format of the risk register and the risk report, as well as any other required outputs from the project risk management processes. tracking documents how risk activities will be recorded and how risk management processes will be audited.